Once you've logged into your system with SSH, now you're going to want to start navigating with the command line. So you're going to know where you are first. So the pwd command stands for print working directory. This is going to give you your current location in the system. If you think about being in a Linux being in a Mac or a Windows-based system, you always have, kind of this tree of directories that you can kind of click through. In Linux, we're at the command line. Everything we do is going to be within some kind of directory, right? So it's useful to know what directory you're in to know where you need to go to do what you want to do. And you'll see more of that as we go through the course. So again, pwd is going to show me my current directory. If you use the cd command, that's going to allow you to change directories. So if I type cd ... that means go up a directory. So in this case, I'm under home and then student, so it's going to take me out of student, move me up to home. I know that because when I type pwd, I'm back in my home directory. I'm back in the home directory, not my home directory. I can go back down by typing cd and the name of the directory I want to go into. It's going to say that it doesn't exist because I meant to put student, sorry. So now I'm back in the student directory. So pwd, back in the student. You can also type cd and just type the name of a directory you want to go to. So for example, I know that there's a directory called etc under root. Now if I just put etc, it's not going to work. I have to put the full path to that directory, because when you're using the name of a directory, it either has to be a full path, which is where it's going to start with that /, and you're telling the system how to get to whatever directory it is that you're trying to get to. If there's no slash in the front, then it has to be relative to where you are. So for example, and by the way, I'm going to go back to my home directory by just typing cd tilde. Tilde always takes you back to your home directory, no matter where you are. So if I wanted to get to etc, one way I could do it is by typing cd /etc, and now I know that I'm in the etc directory. Or now I'm back in my home directory. I could type cd. I know I want to go up a directory because that'll take me into home, up another directory because that's going to take me into my root, and then back down a directory into etc. So I could do it that way too. If you're already in a directory, so I'm going to go ahead and jump back into, well, let's go into etc. Oh, we're in etc already. So we're going to go back to home. Oh, I'm sorry, since we're already in etc, if I want to see a list of the stuff that's in etc, I'm going to use the ls command. That means list. So it's going to show me a list of everything in that directory. You can see there's a lot of stuff in this directory. Because I'm using a console that supports color, it's color coded, so I can see which things here are directories and which things are files. The white ones are files, whereas the blue ones are directories. So if I wanted to change into, I don't know, how about the, which one of these would be a good one to drop into? We'll drop into the log check directory. So I'm going to type cd log check. So that takes me into that log check directory. And then once again, I can type ls and see what's inside that log. So there's yet another directory in there. I'm going to use cd ... to get back out. And now I can see my list again. If you don't have color, the only way you can kind of tell what's a directory and what isn't is to show a full listing. So I'm going to do -l. So the -l is going to show me the same list, but this time you can see there's a D on the very first character is either a D or a dash. The D means that it's a directory, the dash means that it's a file. The rest of the characters you see there tell me whether it's read, write, or execute at the user, group, and global levels. So the first set of RWX is the user, then RWX again for the group, and then RWX again for global. So for example, that security directory you see about fourth from the top, it has read, write, and execute access for the owner of the file. And I know who the owner is because it tells me in the first and second columns. The first, well, I'm sorry, not the first or second columns, but if you're looking, the third column says root. That tells me the user. The fourth column says root. One of them has, or two of them say shadow. That is the group that owns that file. Then you have the size of the file. Then you have the date and time it was last accessed. And then you have the name of the file. So you can use the -l command to do that. If you add an A, right, so I'm going to put an A on here, you're going to see there's a few extra things in here. Any file that's prefixed by a dot means that it's hidden. So without the -a, I don't see those files, but with the -a, I do see those files. So here I can see the .pwdlock, .resolve.conf, right? So some files that were previously hidden. So in this little video, I showed you the print working directory command so you can see where you are. Showed you how to navigate using the cd command, talked about relative versus absolute path. So a relative path means how do I get there from where I am right now using those dots, right? Dot dot to go up, and a / to go down a directory. And then I also talked about how to use the ls command to see what's in your directories.